Some things stick with you forever, and some things you just wish never happened. Hey, it's Ali. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. I have a pop filter now. I know. We'll see if it makes any bit of a difference. Anyway, I have been going down memory lane, just like a lot of you all. The nostalgia machine keeps pumping. And recently, especially with the new Sonic show that has been coming out, don't worry, I will be doing a video about season 2. Don't worry. I have just been thinking about how Sonic has been in my life for an extremely long period of time, like since I was a child, it being basically one of the first fandoms that I have ever gotten into. And that got me thinking about fandoms that I first got into when I got into the entire fandom space, anime, cartoons, all of that, versus fandoms that I'm still into to this day, and some that I want to forget about. And I asked you all, what were your first fandoms? Are you still into those fandoms, and why or why not? And honestly, I think we should do a nice little deep dive into our fandom subconscious today. So if at any time you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, because I make videos like this all the time. I love asking you guys things about different pieces of fandom culture. So if there's anything specific about fandom culture you want me to talk about, let me know. I can create a forum for it. We could be chilling. I love talking with you guys through this way. And let's jump into it. So when you think of fandoms that you genuinely never grow out of, Sonic is usually one of the first ones people will mention, because it is a first fandom. It is one of the first fandoms that I think a lot of people get into, whether it's because of the art, the games, the music, the show. It really doesn't matter. Sonic is such a wide fandom that you probably were into Sonic at one point. And if you say that you weren't, you're lying. You're lying. Everybody was into Sonic at some point. To this day, I can still see people getting into Sonic as one of their first fandoms, especially on places like Tumblr. Used to be DeviantArt, used to be the place for this, but the whole Sonic OC thing is still very much so alive and well. And not in a oh, that's cringy type of way, but in you can clearly see that this is someone's first foray into art. It's someone's first foray into creating OCs as a whole. I don't know what it is about Sonic that is such an entry level piece of media for people to become fans and stans of. If you're a Sonic fan, let me know down in the comments below, because I personally feel maybe it's just the friendliness of Sonic. It is very family friendly, but can get very not family friendly at the same time. I feel there's just so much media as well that you will find your people somewhere, whether you like the music, and that's the main thing you like about Sonic, whether it's Sonic and Shadow, whether it's the new shows that have been coming out, whether it's the games, whatever have you. I feel it is such an entry level piece of media for anybody to consume and to start talking about. And also just the grandness of Sonic in pop culture. Everybody knows Sonic, right? And so when you talk to somebody about Sonic at a base level, they're gonna know what you're talking about, and finding your people, especially online, is never been easier. So that's why I think it is. But let me know why you guys think Sonic is such an entry level fandom. The next fandom for me that was one of the first ones I ever got into was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you need not look 1 second at this channel to understand, okay? I was into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles since I was a wee little lad. And I absolutely, to this day, still love it. Again, I think it is... What are we doing? He's actively trying to scratch the posters off my walls. I think the same way that Sonic is an entry-level medium, TMNT is its cool cousin, which is funny to say because Sonic the Hedgehog is already cool, on a cool meter, it's already cool. But in terms of I guess edginess, TMNT is kind of a little bit more edgy in a lot of its media, especially the more kids related media, even though it's funny because TMNT is still always directed at kids, but the comics, those are rated T for teen for a reason. I also think lovable characters, and very much so personality driven characters, are the reason why these types of media tend to do really well within the public's pop culture conscious or whatever. Because I if you didn't have characters who are just whatever, but they have such bold characters, such bold personalities, and also personalities that you personally can relate to, you can easily self-insert yourself into these worlds as well. Sonic OCs and Turtle OCs, or not even Turtle OCs, with the whole thing with the ooze turning anybody human into a mutant and any animal also into a mutant. It's a furry's paradise, is what I mean to say. So unfortunately, there are some fandoms that were my first foray into the internet and fandom culture at whole that I personally try not to talk about too much, mostly because I fell off of those fandoms, and as I fell off of those fandoms fell off. But there are fandoms out there that are just like, this part of my life, you gotta be like this to know about this part of my life. And y'all, I consider y'all like this. At least in terms of when it comes to fandom stuff. So I'm gonna let y'all know this is either gonna explain a lot of things for you or just cause more confusion. One of the first fandoms that I was ever into was Homestuck. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. Now, I'm not gonna get too deep into Homestuck. There's plenty of a video essay about Homestuck and why it is the way that it is and why fandoms are the way that it is when it comes to Homestuck. And it's a gateway drug. I think Homestuck is a gateway drug because I didn't get into Homestuck because I was into another piece of media that was like closely related to Homestuck. No. I got into Homestuck through another person, an older person. I was in middle school, and a person who was in the 8th grade at the time. I was in the 6th grade. I looked up to them a lot because they were really into anime and all this stuff. And this person was a great person. I love this person. I consider them like a friend. But like, they got me into Homestuck. They said, there's a running joke within the fandom of the whole thing of like, do you know about Homestuck? Do you want to hear about Homestuck? Like, it's something along those lines. It's almost like a cult because that is how you introduce. You don't find Homestuck. You know about Homestuck, but you don't find Homestuck on your own. You're not like, oh, let me just let me go look up what Homestuck is on your own free will. No, you are told. You are recruited to go find Homestuck, to seek out Homestuck. It's like a cult. You are recruited to go find it and to go read it. And when I tell you as a middle school, like 12, 13-year-old, this shaped a lot about me. And it sucks that I can still feel the remnants, like my humor. Also, if you like Undertale, you're gonna like Homestuck. It's a lot of the same humor. And you may be like, no, it can't be right. That can't be right. But it is. If Homestuck didn't exist, Undertale would not exist because Toby Fox is really to this day still into Homestuck. Homestuck is something you cannot just scrub out of your brain, which is why I'm mentioning it here. You can't just scrub it out of your brain. You can't. It has made a permanent mark on you and you will never be able to wash it off. You can tell when someone used to partake in Homestuck. You can tell. You absolutely can tell. And by me saying that I used to partake in Homestuck, and I used to be very much so up to date. I wanted to cosplay Gamzee. If I can find the Halloween photo, I'll put it up. Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad. There are litany of things wrong with the Homestuck fandom. It was my first foray into like a actual toxic fandom. Like, it's the first time I had ever experienced that in my life, and even being on the side of some toxicity sometime. I think it's because it's one of those things. It's like the OG Rick and Morty fan base. I'm not gonna lie to you. The way we acted, the way Homestuck fans acted as if reading Homestuck made your brain IQ like the biggest thing in the world. There was a lot of elitism. Like, a lot of elitism. And every time you hear a horror story about a Homestuck cosplayer, that elitism comes out. And oh, it was bad. It was real bad. It was real bad. But that is something that I can't, it's a part of your history. You can't just shake it off. Same with Hetalia, for very similar reasons. I think because Hetalia was so edgy in its comedy and just offensive to be offensive like all the time. It's just edgy for the sake of being edgy. And hot anime boys. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, a lot, apparently. Racism, fetishizing different moments in history, world history. It was bad. Oh, it was bad. I want to do an iceberg on Hetalia one day because it was, girl, when I tell you it was bad, it was bad. It was dressing up as Nazis at conventions bad. Yeah. But that's enough about me and my past with my first couple of fandoms that I was ever in. I feel like, for better or worse, they all kind of shaped me to where I am now. And honestly, I'm glad I had a lot of those toxic experiences as a kid because I was able to grow up and not be toxic as an adult. It's very different being toxic as a kid than as an adult. Being a grown adult, participating in fandom and being toxic, you're a grown adult. You are a grown adult. So I'm glad that all that toxicity that I had to go through as a kid happened when I was a kid. Because if I grown adult activities acting like that, absolutely not. But there were some grown adults, grown ass adults, bringing that type of toxicity, abusiveness. Is it weird? Why are we abusing children within our fandom? But that's enough about me talking about that. Let's get into y'all's first fandoms. I just want to say before we get started on this is the most responses I have ever gotten. And it could be because I have a lot of new people joining me, which, hi, hello, I'm glad you enjoy my content. Thank you for being here. But also, I feel like y'all just have a lot to say about your early fandom days, which, like, I do too. Do not get me wrong. I do too. Like, each toxic fandom that I've been in, Homestuck and Hetalia, deserve their own separate videos, and maybe that'll come one day. This is one that I thought about putting down because of how bad of an experience it was in a fandom, but this is just one that, like, it wasn't my first foray, it wasn't my first rodeo, so I chose to leave it out. But Voltron, yeah, someone's first fandom here they put was Voltron, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that Voltron had to be your first fandom. I'm so sorry if Steven Universe also, just to cover our bases here, was your first fandom. These are horrible fandoms to be your first fandom into. I feel like you should have a very welcoming fandom as your first one, and then maybe the second one can get a little toxic. But for your first fandom experience to be in such a toxic fandom such as Voltron, I'm so sorry. And I was there. I was right there. I was right there along with you in spirit. I mean, like, I was there, a part of the fandom, I just didn't know who you were. And so I also asked if you were still a part of this fandom to this day, and this person said no. After the last season came out, Tumblr exploded like landmines, so I decided watching season 4 wasn't worth it, then left. You are gracious. The fact that you didn't even watch season 4, because it got worse. Can you believe that? It got worse, actually. It got so much worse. It got literally so much worse. Like, thinking about it genuinely makes me upset. It was so bad. So the fact that you left after, like, the fact that you left before you even watched the season is kudos to you. Kudos to you, because it got worse after the show ended. Somehow, some way, because it's the amount of copium and the amount of, like, fan wars that went on and people just coming after one another, people sending death threats to the voice actors after they worked their butt. This is back when having gay representation was still not that, like, seen within, like, the animation industry. So the fact that the voice actors put their actual jobs on the line to, like, advocate for some type of LGBT rep, and then just for the fandom to, like, spit back in their faces and send them death threats. Kind of crazy. Actually, kind of crazy. So the next one, this person said Naruto and Ruby, which, like, hey, Naruto. Naruto was also one of my first fandoms. However, anime fandoms are a lot different than regular fandoms. Nowadays, anime fandoms kind of overlap with regular fandom now. But, like, back in the day, anime fandom was much, much, much different than, like, regular fandom. Like, when people talk about fandom who are not a part of, like, TV show fandom, whatever, they usually talk about, you know, like, One Direction or, like, whatever. Meanwhile, I was into One Direction and Naruto fandom, and when I tell you, it was, like, night and day being in those two different fandoms. Of course, there were similarities, like fan fiction, shipping wars, all that type of stuff, but for the most part, it was still, like, night and motherfucking day being into One Direction and being in that fandom, and then being into Naruto also at the same time and being in that fandom. Night and fucking day. But yeah, but Ruby, also, sorry, I feel like Ruby catches a lot of strays. I'm gonna say I feel like Ruby catches a lot of strays, and it doesn't always need to. I feel like Ruby is something that, like, not that I will always be defensive of, because there's definitely, obviously, like, with any show, there are its problems, but Ruby, I feel like, catches strays a lot for, like, kind of no reason. I feel like it catches a lot of strays, and it shouldn't be catching that many strays. So I salute you to, like, being deep in the fandom, because if you're a fandom warrior, not everybody, some people are just quiet in fandoms, but, like, if you're a fandom warrior, hats off to you when it comes to Ruby, because I know you guys be in the trenches. Y'all be in the trenches. I stay on Tumblr. I see what be going down. And Twitter especially. Oh my God. But yeah, y'all be in the trenches. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Y'all be catching strays left and right. I hope you're doing all right. I hope your mental health is doing all right. Jacksepticeye egos. I didn't even think about, like, real life people fandoms, because yeah, technically I would be considered a part of the Markiplier fandom, especially as a kid. Like, I was deep into that, like, the whole Markiplier ego stuff. I was, especially when he started to play into it. Oh my God, who killed Markiplier was an event. It wasn't, man's making movies now. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Anyway, I'm still in Markiplier stand. Jacksepticeye, though, I don't know the lore about Jacksepticeye. I need to get on it. I know he has released, like, a couple of new things about, like, he has like some projects that he like put out that are kind of in the same realm of his egos, but not his egos. It's something different. I know it's something different, something like new that he put out, and I'm like really, really interested in it. So I gotta get up to date on that. But this person said that they're not really still into that entire fandom side of things unless he puts out something new, and now they're into Lego Monkey Kid, which like, me too. Oh god, this is like I just put out the third, or is it the fourth video I made about Lego Monkey Kid. I just put out. Send help. Hey, another Sonic enjoyer. Thank you. Okay, someone put Vocaloid and Homestuck. We already touched on Homestuck. Y'all know how I feel. Vocaloid, however, was something that I desperately wanted to get into. I desperately wanted to get into Vocaloid, and then I just like fell off. It was a lot of dedication, especially back in the day when not a lot of things were translated. And so you had to go through fan translations. You had to watch, if you're watching concerts, you were watching some bootleg version of a concert. Again, no translations for nothing. This is the same with K-pop as well. Like when I got into K-pop in like early like 2014, like there was no translations for nothing. If there was a concert, if there was a variety show, there were no translations. Nowadays, y'all are lucky. Y'all get translations for stuff. Back in the day, we had to hope that some fan somewhere was well enough versed in Japanese for Vocaloid for someone to like be translating something for you. Otherwise, you just gonna have to vibe. And good to see that we're still into the Vocaloid stuff. Anytime something goes like viral on TikTok, that's usually when I'm like, man, I miss Vocaloid, and like I go back and listen to like a couple of my favorite songs. But if you have any suggestions for some Vocaloid music for me to get into again, drop it down in the comments below. And Homestuck, no, yeah, racist, yeah, I unfortunately finished Homestuck. I didn't go read any of the epilogues, or I know they were making a game and all that stuff. I didn't do all that, but I think I did finish it. Do I remember the plot of the ending or the plot of the entire comic as a whole? No, but you know, I finished it. Okay, see, I thought this was my friend because this person said Supernatural, Teen Wolf, and The Walking Dead, and I was about to say, Nalo, is that you? But then they said, nope, I just grew out of them. Nalo still watches Supernatural like once a year. He'll binge Supernatural, so that's an absolute no. Understandable though. It's interesting to see people say with like when it comes to K-pop that they distance themselves from K-pop like as a whole. It's really interesting to see that because K-pop is a music genre, a music industry actually, because there are many different genres within K-pop, but it's all under K-pop because us in the West just know it as K-pop, even though there's K-rock, K-R&B, et cetera. But like it's all under the industry known as K-pop. And so for me personally, I think I distance myself from the fandoms, but not necessarily the music itself. I am personally now super duper picky about all of the music that I ingest, and that includes K-pop stuff. So I'm not just gonna like be a fan of something for the sake of being a fan of something, which is I feel like what most K-pop fandoms are now. That I'm just super picky at this point. I really am. We got Soul Eater on here. Soul Eater would have been one of the first animes that I ever watched, but I never finished it. I hear it's getting a reboot though. Is that true? If so, I may give it another shot. Minecraft, Undertale, and FNAF. Hit us with that 1-2 combo. I feel like that is, hear me out. I feel like that is nowadays like super hulock. Like, think about it for a second. It's low key without the like crossover madness, which still actually does happen. It does happen, but not to the extent that it like Super Hulock did. I feel like that is like the trifecta of like indie, well, Minecraft is not an indie game, but you know, the like indie kind of scene, niche kind of niche. It's not really niche. That's so funny. You call it niche, but it's not niche. None of those fandoms are niche at all. Maybe they started off pretty niche, and I think they still have that air of being niche, but like any Minecraft YouTuber you look up has like millions of followers. And the same with like Undertale, like people like it's not niche at all, but like I don't know, it feels niche when it's not. Like, I feel like when I'm talking about FNAF or when I'm talking about Undertale or Minecraft to anybody, it feels like it's kind of like a you know if you don't kind of thing. Like, if you know, then you're like really in it. And if you don't know, then you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a lot of people, like my best friend, Nalo, he doesn't really know anything about Minecraft YouTubers, about Undertale, or about FNAF. But he knows of those things because of how big they are in pop culture, but he knows nothing about them, like, as a fandom side. So in that way, it's still kind of niche. I hope that made any type of sense. But this person says that they're still into those things, and I am too. Those were the like fandoms that I got into in high school, and I'm still into them. Especially Minecraft. As long as they keep updating Minecraft will literally never die. And unfortunately, so will FNAF. And Undertale has just solidified itself in pop culture. Oh, this person said Undertale and Deltarune, and then they drifted away. Oh yeah, there was a lot of discourse about the main character's gender. That sucks. It's chill now. It's one of those things where it's like, you go to a fandom after it's like blown up and died, and it's real chill. I go on the Deltarune like tag like all the time, and it's mostly people just either hating on Spamton or thirsting over Spamton, or sometimes both at the same time. Gravity Falls and Cuphead. Ooh, I love Cuphead. That's nice to know. Gravity Falls help people with media literacy. Honestly, I'd have to say same. I feel like Gravity Falls was one of the first shows I watched as a kid that I was like, oh, this is good writing. Like, this is how like a TV show should be written. Like, it's one of the few TV shows at the time that like had a proper ending, because a lot of cartoons at the time didn't seem like they were having a proper ending. Like, I know Steven Universe was on at the same time, but like at the time, Steven Universe was very much so like week to week type deals with maybe a little bit of like an overarching storyline, but never like the real big overarching storyline. So Gravity Falls was one of the first for me that I saw that was like, oh, this is an overarching storyline that's gonna have an ending. And then it actually ended. Because you know, sometimes when a show gets as popular as it does, they try to drag it out for long and long and long, especially in like the early 2000s. That was a thing, and it ruined a lot of really good cartoons and TV shows. So to have this one, sir, to have this one be like as big as it was and actually have an actual ending, I think really solidified how great of a TV show it was, because it had an ending. And the ending was bittersweet at that. Like, it really it paved the way. Gravity Falls really did pave the way, but I feel like it was a really good show for kids to watch, because I do agree with the whole media literacy thing, and I also agree, I agree with my own statement that it taught kids about like, this is what good writing looks like for a kid show, like genuinely especially during that time. Also the Cuphead show is just so great. It's just so great. It's so cute. It's so cute, and it's very inspirational in terms of like something that is super stylized. I've been in a lot of really super stylized things, especially when it comes to like game making, and the Cuphead show was one of those that just like really hit the like inspiration nail on the head. Ooh, okay. So this one is a little bit more, this is definitely more niche. So this person said Monster High, Ever After High, Bratzillas, and Nuvi Stars, which like, this was something that I was into, but like I was into from the outside. And to this day, I watch from the outside looking in, knowing damn well if I even try to get into Bratz or Monster High. Do you see space on the shelves for any dolls? Do you see any space? Because I don't. And I'm moving into a smaller apartment. Girl, with what space am I going to start collecting dolls? But like, that is a slippery slope, especially that being your first fandom. But like, hey, it's fun though. It was fun for like the 2 seconds I was in it. And yeah, the reboots weren't all that great, so yeah, I can see why you might have fallen off of that. Okay, Junie B. Jones, the book series. Okay. Lego Ninjago. Yeah. And Black Butler. Y'all hear Black Butler's getting a reboot? Reboot? Or is it just getting a new season? I think it's just a new season. That was another one of the first like couple of animes that I ever watched. Oh, lordy. Junie B. Jones, though. To ride that hard for Junie B. Jones, to be in a fandom for Junie B. Jones, that's some dedication. I need to go back and rewatch Lego Ninjago, because I fell off of it, and I don't remember a whole lot of the plot. I know that one of them is a robot. That's literally like as much as he was my favorite character too, and I don't remember anything about him other than he was a robot. So I definitely have to go back and rewatch. But it's nice that like to know that it's still alive. Isn't that show also getting a reboot? I feel like that's the universe telling me I should go ahead and rewatch it. But this person says that they're definitely still into it. Oh, there's a Dragon Rider series. I don't even know what that is. Oh my god. This person said My Hero Academia, and then said no, and then wrote me an entire essay, which like, girl, I get it. Oh, to be into My Hero Academia in the year, I think it was 2016, it was hell. It was actual hell. And for some reason, my 16-year-old brain was like, let me follow a bunch of stan accounts. And to this day, I am still unfollowing stan. You want to know why my follower count on Twitter is so high? Like the people that I'm following? Because I followed so many stan accounts that are either inactive or don't tweet about My Hero Academia anymore. And I had to go through, because my Twitter, we talk about how Twitter is like hell on earth. I made it even worse. I made my Twitter experience even worse by following a bunch of My Hero Academia stan accounts. It was hell. Every time I didn't go on Twitter for like months, because of just how every time I would go on there, it would just be one thing or another, and it would just make my experience so bad that I just did not want to go on there. And I'm still, to this day, I had to go through a massive unfollowing spree, and clearly because of how many people I still follow, it's still there. It's real bad. It was real bad. But this person was saying that they get really, I also really get, oh, Twitter was so bad. Yeah, My Hero Academia TikTok too. Oh my God. Oh yeah, as a child too. And they were, some of these cosplayers, these were grown-ass adults cosplaying children, which isn't usually bad, but then you were doing like sexual things as a grown adult cosplaying a child. Bro. Yeah, that's something that I never really understood out of like all of the anime fandoms that like were out, especially during that time, why My Hero Academia got so sexualized. I don't know where that came from. Like genuinely, like it was, especially on TikTok, like that was so hyper like sexualized on there. I'm like, y'all remember the shows about a bunch of teenagers in high school, right? Freshmen at that. Not that it would be any better if they were seniors, but like still, like freshly turned 14 teenagers. Y'all do realize that, right? And I think some of y'all like choose to forget on purpose. Also, shout out to all the people who are saying I need to, because I put at the bottom of this, are there any topics you want me to cover? And they're like, Lego Monkey Kid. Even I've made 4 videos about Lego Monkey Kid now. 4. But no, I understand. I wish I could just talk about Lego Monkey Kid all day long, but at that point I'd be turning into a Lego Monkey Kid channel, and we want to keep it a little diverse on here. Catch me though at the end of the summer. I will probably be making more videos because I'm trying to read Journey to the West over the summer. So catch me at the end of the summer. Someone said Danny Phantom. Okay. But yeah, Butch Hartman. Oh yeah, Butch Hartman. Ooh. Yeah, that's a great guy. Yeah, people, it is so weird how like some certain characters have just become like completely co-opted in Danny Phantom to like not so great things. Like Danny Phantom, such an innocent show, has been turned into some crazy things. Like if you look up any of like the Danny Phantom iceberg, it's insane. It's actually insane. Like it's such an innocuous show, a show you wouldn't even think about having that deep of an iceberg to go along with it, but it does. Maybe I'll do that one day because the Danny Phantom iceberg is insane. It's actually fucking insane. Shout out to the person who wants me to continue my Percy Jackson series. Shout out to you for real, because I really did stop reading. I really did. Not because I was bored or anything. I just stopped reading. I've gotten to the second book in the series, the Heroes of Olympus series. It's just a lot. It's a lot, but I am going on vacation soon, so maybe I'll take the book with me and hopefully read it. How could I forget about Avatar: Last Airbender? Like, duh. Yeah, ships will do that to you. This person's talking about how they're not into a lot of the fandoms they put up here, which is Avatar: Last Airbender, Black Butler again, Bleach, Fruit Basket, My Hero Academia, Twisted Wonderland. Yeah, I can definitely see it. I can definitely see why people would just like stop being into those things, because shipping wars ruined a lot of Voltron for me. Like it was so bad. It was so bad. Shout out to Undertale again. Yeah, the AU nonsense on Undertale. I tried to get into it and then I got lost. There were literally so many. There were so many AUs in Undertale that I just got lost. I tried to get into it for a second. I couldn't. I literally couldn't. Winnie the Pooh, Powerpuff Girls, and Sailor Moon. Oh, that's so like wholesome. That is so wholesome. How does it feel to like be in a wholesome fandom for once? You know, like how does that feel? I hope you feel great about yourself. Oh yeah, the age gap between Usagi and Mamoru. Yeah, that was a little weird, especially growing up and you're like, oh, it's so cute, and then going back later and being like, that's a grown-ass man. That is a grown-ass man. Yeah, no, I get it, yeah. Oh, My Little Pony, as well as Five Nights at Freddy's and Minecraft. Yeah, for the nostalgia, I feel like nostalgia is a lot of the reasons why I check up on these fandoms too, especially if they don't really have any new content. I'll go back every now and then and be like, oh, memories when I was innocent. And the last one we have on here is Kirby and Alan Becker's AVM fandom. I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna have to look that one up and put it on the screen because I don't even know what that is. Oh, the series is ongoing. I don't even know what it is. Animator versus animation. Oh, Alan Becker, isn't he that dude who makes fucking art videos, right? Because I swear to God I follow him because I was like really into like teaching myself art for a while. I still am. I just like I'm in the phase where I just want to draw what I want and not really think about like actually studying, which I need to study, but it's a whole thing. Anyway, I think that's the person they're talking about. If so, I love his stuff. If that's not the person you're talking about, I will look them up. Oh yeah, and the Kirby fandom. Oh, Kirby right back at you. Such a cute show. Also something that is very wholesome. Y'all being into these wholesome like fandoms, y'all are lucky for that one. Okay, that was all of the responses. That was a lot. That was a lot of responses. I'm sorry this video is super long. I just wanted to get to everybody's response because I genuinely like to see where people have started when it comes to fandom, where they are now, and all that type of stuff. I think it's fun. I think it's fun and talk about like fandom culture and things like that, because like I said, there's a lot of bad, there's a lot of good, there's a lot of in between. And as people who are probably going to be into fandom for the rest of their lives, it's nice to like figure out how to navigate that and create a nice little fun little community here. And thank you to everybody who left a suggestion also in the like little topics thing at the bottom. I have now, there's a lot of things that I wanted to do that I didn't think anybody would be into, and some of y'all suggested those down below, so be on the lookout for those. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you did, you are a real one. Go ahead and have a great day for me. Like, just go ahead and have a great day. If there's any that I missed or you didn't get to fill out the form, let us know down in the comments below. Let's start a conversation. And you can reach me on any of my social media all over. I'm trying to get into the shorts and TikTok game. They're just gonna be silly, they're not gonna be super serious. So hype me up over there if you wanna hype me up, hype your girl up over there, because sometimes I feel like I'm shouting into the void. I mean, that's how this feels too, but at least I get some type of feedback sometimes. Sometimes TikTok and YouTube shorts, you just, the void. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Love and peace.